Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu to everyone. So I am Amadou Jallo. So first of all, I want to say Ramadan Kareem to we all. And so today my topic is why Ramadan is important in Islam, and also money and banking, trading, Forex, all these things in relation to Islam. So as we know, Ramadan is the holiest month in Islam, observed by over 1.9 billion, 2 billion people, Muslims worldwide. So it is a time of fasting, prayer, self-discipline, and spiritual reflection. The significance of Ramadan goes beyond just abstaining, from food and drink. It is a period of personal growth, devotion, and community bonding, so it's time when you show, you try to stay spiritually connected with your maker, with your creator, which is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as a Muslim. So it's a month of fasting, which is one of the five pillars of Islam. Fasting in Ramadan is an obligatory act of worship and one of the five pillars of Islam, from dawn, Fajr to sunset. So, so when we say we're fasting, we are abstaining from certain things, from sunrise to sunset. So basically, we are not eating and drinking, no smoking, no marital relations, or bad habits like lying, arguing, fighting, or gossiping, all these things. So that's the physical aspect of it. So the spiritual aspect of it also is to engage, like reading Quran and engaging in the community, going to mosque, helping the needy, and all that. So that the purpose of fasting is not just physical discipline, but also spiritual purification. It teaches patience and gratitude and self-control, as Quran says, O you who believe, fasting has been prescribed for you as it was prescribed for those before you, that you may attain taqwa. Taqwa, what is taqwa? Taqwa is God consciousness, to be conscious about God. So you should have you should be practicing taqwa before Ramadan. So, but during Ramadan, you engage more, you try to practice more. And also the other thing that why Ramadan is important is Ramadan is special because it is the month in which the Quran was first revealed, to the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Who is Prophet Muhammad? Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, is the messenger, is the last and final messenger that is sent to humanity, to mankind. So the Quran is the revelation that was revealed to him. It's a kind of principles, a guidance, principles for humanity. So Muslims use this month to recite, study and reflect on the Quran more than usual. You should be doing this before Ramadan, but during Ramadan, Muslims engage more on this. So many attend special night prayers, so at the mosque, or to listen to recitations of the entire Quran. So a time for increased worship and good deeds. So Ramadan is an important, make for Muslims, because it have opportunity to strengthen one's relationship to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, our creator. So Muslims will engage in Quran recitation, we engage in dua, supplications, and repentance. We engage in charity and helping the less fortunate. So good deeds during Ramadan are multiplied in rewards, making it a blessed time for self-improvement. So when Ramadan begins, the gate of Jannah, paradise, are opened, and the gate of Jahannam, hell, are closed. So we believe that and the devil is chained. So goodness is, the world is full of goodness, and I know a lot of, because people are engaging in these supplications. And also, and during the month of Ramadan, especially in the last 10 days, we consider them the holiest night. Okay, we're looking for the holiest night in those holiest night. Okay, so one of the last 10 nights of Ramadan is what we call Laylatul Qadr, the night of power. Okay, the night when the Quran was revealed. It is described as better than 1,000 months. So what is 1,000 months? 1,000 months is roughly 83 years. So if you are able to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala during these last 10 days, and you are fortunate to worship him during that one day picked, so the day is not specifically identified, so it's within that last 10 days, so that will encourage you to come to the mosque and perform, or to engage in more supplications like you've worshipped Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for 83 years. So Muslims spend the last 10 nights in intense worship, okay, seeking forgiveness and blessing. Many perform what we call itikaf, okay, seclusions in the mosque to focus solely on prayer and spirituality, okay. So another thing is also during the month of Ramadan is a month of giving and social responsibility, okay. Muslims are encouraged to give zakat, okay. Obligatory charity is 2.5% of your savings, okay, or helping others, or donate, okay, like visiting hospitals, okay, checking on your neighbors, and feeding the poor, especially during iftar, okay. Iftar is breaking the fast, when you breaking the fast, okay. So as it says in Tirmidhi, it says the best charity is that given in Ramadan. So the spirit of generosity strengthens community bonds and empathy for the less fortunate, okay. So during this holy month, it's so powerful to engage in these activities. So strengthening family and community ties. Ramadan is a time for family gathering and community unity. People break their fast together, pray together, and attend mosque events. So, and also we have iftar and suhoor meals, okay. Bring families together, because you're waking up together, you're having suhoor, and it's time to go break your fast. You go into the mosque, or you with your family, you break in your fast, okay. So this brings unity, peace, and love among your family and Muslims in general. So, and you are sharing experience of fasting, strengthening relationship, motivating each other, to keep going. So this is happening with Muslims all around the world, regardless of nationality, regardless of race, regardless of your background. We are all united in worship and devotion during this month. So it's kind of like a fresh start, okay. So it's kind of you resetting yourself mentally and spiritually, as well as physically, because remember, you are not eating from sunrise to sunset, okay. You kind of restraining yourself, you teaching yourself discipline, self-discipline, okay. It is an opportunity for you to break bad habits, okay, like smoking, like excessive screen time, or gossip, or improving self-control over your desires and emotions, okay. Because if you can control yourself from not doing all these things for 1 month, you can able to do it for the next 11 months, okay. And then 1 month later, again, after that, you reset yourself, okay. So you are developing healthier eating habits as well. Because we know, especially in the West, especially here in the United States, lot of people are obese, overeating, because you're eating too much. So if you can abstain yourself for 1 month, if not eating from sunrise to sunset, that shows your ability of control. So you can able to control your nerves. So by the end of the Ramadan, many Muslims feel spiritually refreshed. They're closer to God and more disciplined, okay, because you have developed this strength, spiritual connection with your maker, which is Allah. And and after then the 10 days, the 30 days, the 29 days or 30 days. So we call what is called Eid al-Fitr, the joy, the celebration. Because remember, this is kind of a joyful moment, okay? Because you have gone through this process, like you practice self-control, you practice controlling your physical needs during sunrise to sunset, okay? You practice spirituality. then you control those, and that helps you to even for the next 11 months. So at the end of the Ramadan, so Muslims celebrate, just like when you achieve a goal, when you set a task, so you work to achieve that goal. So at the end of the Ramadan, Muslims celebrate Eid, a festival of gratitude and joy. It begins with a special Eid prayer, okay? So followed by gathering, then we feast, and an act of charity given to the poor, so everyone can enjoy the Eid. So Eid is a reminder of the blessings of the Ramadan and the joy of completing a month of worship. And so Ramadan is more than just fasting, okay? It is a month of worship, self-discipline, reflection, and charity. It helps Muslims grow spiritually, physically, and socially, making it one of the most important and cherished times of the year. So I want us to have that as Muslims, as when we're going through this process of fasting in this month. So after that, we look at our next topic. Our next topic is money and banking in Islam. Because Islam is it's a way of life, okay? It have laws. It have laws about your lifestyle, laws about money, laws about relationship with others, with your God, with your creator. So as our platform is about money and banking and trading, so we're going to look at the money and banking in Islam principles and practices. So what we call Islamic finance, okay? So Islamic finance operates on principles derived from what we call Sharia law, okay? Sharia law emphasizing ethical, fair, and risk sharing financial transactions, okay? Unlike conventional banking, okay, Islamic banking prohibits interest. In our previous videos, or in upcoming videos we're gonna do about the money and banking, so we talk a lot about interest. So in Islam, interest, riba, what is called riba, okay, is interest is prohibited, okay? And also excessive uncertainty, garar, we know volatility, we know uncertainty in the market, so that is haram in Islam, okay? It's not permissible. And unethical investment. So instead, it promotes risk-sharing assets, backed financing, and social justice. So we talk about all this in details, okay? So some of the key principles of Islamic money and banking. One is prohibition of interest, riba, okay? So one of the fundamental rules in Islamic banking is the absolute prohibition of riba. There is no room for riba. There is no room for interest, okay? So the Quran explicitly forbids charging interest on loans, as it's seen as exploitative and unjust. Instead of earning money from money, Islamic banks profit through trade, okay, because or through investment and risk sharing. So when we talk about risk sharing, what do we mean? Risk sharing and profit loss, okay? So Islamic banking operates on the principle of partnership, okay, rather than lending and borrowing with interest. We know, like the Western world, it's all about interest. We talked about that in some previous videos, or when we learn about money and banking or investments is centered around interest in the Western world. But for Islam, we have what we call profit sharing, mudarraba. So a mudarraba is a partnership where one party provide capital, okay? One party is providing the funds, the money, the cash, the capital, while the other provide expertise, okay? So maybe you are good in that field, okay? So what happens is that then when one provide the capital and the other one provide expertise and management, so profit are shared based on agreed ratio. So ahead of time, you agreed on the ratio of sharing. Of course, everything has some hiccups, ups and downs. We see how that works, but we are trying to understand the concept of money and banking in Islam, okay? So while losses are borne by the capital provider, so if there is profit, you guys share the profit. But if there is a loss, so then you only lose the capital you invested in the first place, in the beginning, okay? So that is mudarrabat, profit sharing agreement. We have what we call musharaka, so joint venture. So both parties contribute capital and share profit and losses in portion to their investment. So this is a joint venture, meaning that two parties or more parties will come together, bring their capital, their money together, and then invest. So, but ahead of time, you have to agree on the ratio if there is a profit, okay? But again, the same thing, if there is a loss, again, you guys will share the loss equally among each other. And number 3 is what we call asset-backed financing, okay? Tangible transactions only. So Islam banking ensures that all financial transactions are backed by real economic activities, no shady deals, okay? So money cannot be made from speculations or money for money, okay, transactions. So instead, transactions must involve tangible assets, real assets like property, commodities or businesses, okay, no speculations, or we come to that when we talk about, intangibles, okay. So ethical and halal investment. So Islamic finance prohibit investment in business that involve haram, forbidden activities such as investing in alcohol, okay, we have in productions, alcohol productions or industries, okay, or gambling, or what we call maisir, okay, gambling, bettings, on horses, or betting on football games, all those kind of things. Or also pork related products, okay, so companies or businesses that produce pork related products, okay, so all those things are forbidden in Islam to invest in. So also speculative trading or what is called garara. So there is no tangibles, okay. In speculative trading, you just guessing, okay. So guessing is prohibited. Investing in guessing. So interest-based financial services, also like what we talked about earlier, all about the interest. So Islamic banks invest in halal industries such as real estate, trade, agriculture, technology. So okay, and just like in the Western world, we have banking instruments like options, futures, stocks, bonds, all these things. The same is with Islamic banking instrument, okay. So the Islamic banking instrument, one we call them cost plus financing, what we call murabbaha. So it's a popular Islamic financing model where a bank purchases an asset and sells it to the customer at a markup price. So what do I mean by that? There's a lot to entangle there. So we know, like for example, in the US or Europe, when you want to buy a house, okay, you go for your mortgage. What you do is that you go to the bank will give you the loan, then you buy, then you pay interest on that loan. Okay, but in Islam, the bank is buying the house and having at a markup price. If let's say the house is cost like $1 million, so then your maybe it's 2% interest there, okay, in the Western world. So but you are not paying the $1 million cash, you are paying by installment. Every month you have the amount you are going to pay to the bank, but because of your interest that you pay, so that amount is gonna accumulate. So maybe by the end of your payment, you are not only paying 1 million, you might be paying 1.2 million. Okay, but so it depends on how interest rate is fluctuating within that period of the mortgage. Okay, some you have locked in prices of interest, of course, but the interest, some people will do what we call refinancing. Okay, all that's gonna come, we're gonna talk. But in Islam, in the Islamic banking system, is that okay, when you go take this loan, borrowing this loan, what you are engaging is that they're telling you, okay, outrightly you are just going to pay 1.1 million, for example, okay, that's it. So across that time of the mortgage, you're gonna pay it by installment every month, of course, but you're just gonna pay 1.1 million, okay. It's not gonna accumulate to 1.2 million, or if interest rate fall, you're gonna only pay 1 million. No. So with Islamic banking system is that you have a fixed That's what we mean by mark to market. Okay, it's fixed markup price. That's it. Okay, but for mortgages and like the Western world, if your interest is 2%, maybe with fluctuations you can refinance, or you can either pay maybe by the end of the time 1.3 million, 1.4 million or less. Okay, but in Islam it's fixed, so we agree on ahead of time. You're gonna pay 1.1 million, and that's it. So next we're going to talk about ijara, leasing agreement. So a form of Islamic where the bank buys an asset. Okay, this is also like a house, as we said earlier, or a car. So but now and we lease it, so the bank will lease it to the customer for a fixed rental payment. Okay, so earlier the bank is buying the house or the property and making you pay for it, and at the end of the payment you own the house or the whatever you bought. But here it's just like a lease agreement. They are leasing it to you, so you paying like your rent. For example, you living in a house, you are renting that house. You are not paying the rent at the end of the day you own the house. No, at the end of the day when you are living, you live in. All that rent is just the amount of time you spent living in that house. But if you are, so that is what we call that's leasing agreement. It's to a customer for a fixed rental payment. Okay, ownership may be transferred at the end of the lease. So sometimes you can live in a house, you pay the rent, at the end of the day you own the house, or sometimes not, depending on the contract. So that's another thing about Islamic banking. The third aspect I want to talk about is bonds, Islamic bonds. Okay, we know like in the US we have the treasury bills, we have bonds. Bills is short term, bonds is like when you borrow, when the government is borrowing money from people. So for example, government do borrow money. We all know that, right? Government do go bankrupt. Okay, so government want to implement projects. So what they do, they write papers which we call bonds, and they sell those bonds. They sell those pieces of papers to people out there, and with interest. Okay, saying that, hey, we want to borrow $1,000, for example. This paper is cost $1,000 for 2 years, so we're gonna borrow it for 1 month or 1 day. There are bonds that are for 1 day, there are bonds that are for 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 month, 3 months. It depends. 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. These are, so the longer the period, the higher the interest that you pay, that the government gonna pay you, because you are giving them your money for a longer period of time. Okay, while if you are like bills, treasury bills, those are for short term, maybe 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, 3 months, 1 year. Those are called treasury bills. So but they all have interest, so you are not lending the government your money for a long period of time. So what that means is that the interest is low on those. So Islam in this is the ruling in Islam is this is prohibited. So unlike conventional bonds, okay, we are in this one here, we call it sukuk in Islam. So it represents ownership in an asset or business. Okay, you not pay no interest, because remember, interest is forbidden in Islam. So rather than debt, investors earn returns, okay, from the profit generated by the underlying asset. So what I mean by that, so for US bonds or treasury bills, you giving your money to the government and they are paying you interest. So government is taking that money, they are going to invest that money maybe in bridges, in infrastructure, on other means, and they're making money. And after that, they give you back your bond plus the interest they are paying during that time frame. Whether the bonds, remember, bonds is for longer periods, like 20 years, 10 years, 30 years. Bills is for a shorter period. Okay, so they're gonna pay you interest on that. So but they're not gonna give you profit that they derive from making your money. So in Islam, in Islamic finance, now that's the catch. So in Islamic finance, you are not, because people sometimes wonder how you make money when you don't gain interest. So in Islamic finance, you make money from the profit that the investors. So let's say the government write a bond. Okay, you buy that bond from the government. The government invested that bond, that money you gave to them. So the profit they make, they're gonna share the profit with you. So they're not giving you interest, they're giving you profit. So that's what is called sukuk. So that's how Islamic bonds work in the Islamic world. So the profit they make from the underlying assets, Okay, so another aspect is also what we call takaful. Okay, this is a Sharia compliant, this is kind of insurance system, okay, based on mutual corporations. So we know about insurance, right? For example, if you have a house, you're gonna buy insurance. So like, for example, if your house get burned down, like what happened in California, the insurance companies will pay. Okay, so you pay premium ahead of time. So insurance companies will collect those premiums, and then if your house get burned down, they will step in and pay. There are a lot of nuances, of course, in that which we will talk about in our subsequent. We're just talking about Islamic and finance, okay, and money and banking in Islam for today. So to a shared pool, so which is to compensate for losses rather than earning profit from premiums. We know insurance companies, they don't do that to do you a favor, right? They are doing it to make profit. So, and how they make profit is by collecting those premiums. So Islamic banking versus conventional banking now. So interest is prohibited. We talked about that in Islamic banking. So conventional banking charge on loans and deposits, and risk sharing. They encourage profit, loss sharing, okay, that Islamic banking, while conventional banking, lenders avoid risk. And for asset backed in Islam, yes, it's allowed real transactions, and conventional banking, no, money to money lending, okay. So these are some of the things. So the impact of Islamic banking. So growth in global market, Islamic finance has expanded rapidly, okay, with assets surpassing $3 trillion globally. So key financial hubs include like Malaysia, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar, and Pakistan. So all these places, so they practice Islamic finance in those places. Okay, we know the West, US, and Europe, they practice the conventional money banking system. So Islamic banking provide ethical and interest-free banking, okay, options for millions of people who avoid conventional banking due to religious beliefs. So resilience to financial crisis. So Islamic banks avoid excessive speculations, okay, and leverage. They tend to be more stable than conventional banks during economic downturns. So basically, Islamic money and banking offers a unique, ethical, and risk-sharing alternative, okay, to conventional finance by focusing on justice, transparency, and real economic activities. So Islamic banking aligns financial transactions with Islamic principles while promoting social and economic stabilities. And now we switch to a very important topic again about Forex trading. So nowadays we see a lot of Forex trading, a lot of scam on the internet about that. You know, so what we're going to talk about now, I switch my attention to now, is it's about the foreign exchange, okay, the foreign exchange market. So when we talk about Forex, basically when we are talking about it, is a currency or money you go to visit. Like, for example, if you go to visit a country, okay, you buy something nice, you need that currency, okay. If you go to the marketplace, you go to another country, you need that exchange. Say you have $100, they give you whatever it is equivalent in euros or in pound sterling or in leones. Okay, so the Islamic, when it comes to exchanges of currency, is very, very simple. Okay, if the currency are the same, like a dollar for dollar, you can only exchange them one to one. Okay, the spot price or the par value, okay, on the spot. And rule when it comes to exchanging now different currencies is that you can exchange them as you wish, okay, but as long as they are exchanged on the spot. Okay, so what that mean is that what that means, the current price. So if you go to the to foreign exchanges, they have the spot market at that particular moment, so you can exchange it with that because there is an actual asset. So like whether like big institutions like central banks, they move money from one place to another with billions of dollars, so they need to understand the spot prices, okay, paying the invoices. So this is something that most of the listeners maybe here we are not going to engage in with central banks, okay, but we can engage in Forex, okay, through derivatives. You have these Forex futures and options, okay, where you are not really buying really currency, but a contract. And this is something that most of the scholars will say is not Sharia, okay, compliant, because you are not trading something that is real anyway. There is no real ownership of the assets, okay, and this is just betting on the fluctuation, okay, in price. So we come to the retail forex. Okay, this is something that you will see all over these courses on your TikTok, your Instagram, Facebook, all over the place. Okay, offering signals or some ideas. People are offering all these teachings. You how to see what's going to happen before it happens. Okay, all of those get rich quick schemes. Okay, that talk about trading forex. All those things are scam. Okay, this is the one that we are talking about. This is trading forex, okay, through what we call a contract, okay, derivative for different CFDs, okay. So contract for differences. So now this way of trading forex is actually very similar to what we see with derivatives, that you are not really taking ownership or possession of money at all, okay. And what you are doing is you are entering into the contract for difference with your platform. Not, you are not buying the actual with the broker. And this is where the problem starts, okay. Oftentimes people think that you are getting some kind of a loan. It acts as a leverage, as if you are buying something real. There is no loan, or no one is giving anyone loan. It is just called like a loan, okay. So margin or leverage. So when you are putting $1,000, for example, okay, for a position which is 100 to 1, you are buying into the $100,000 position. You are not controlling $100,000. You are not taking ownership of $100,000. There is no one who is giving you a loan. So all of this is just terminologies, okay. So what you are doing is a contract for different CFDs. So you and the platform are entering the contract. It's basically saying something along these lines, okay. I'm putting $1,000 for $100,000 position. Okay, so if the price is this, then I will get 2,000 or 3,000, whatever is the price. Okay, at the end, if the price is something else, then the platform will get your money. So what is this? So when the price of the currency moves a tiny bit, okay, this leverage, what we call this amplification, can completely wipe your $1,000. A small move, or make your $1,000 multiplied if it goes towards it. So you are guessing now the currency is moving just like tiny bit, okay, 1%, but it is totally wiping you out because of the leverage, because you are buying into this big chunk of money, $1,000. So we see that this is purest form of gambling, and we know Islam does not permit gambling. So where you are pretending that you have actually purchased the money and you are actually benefiting from the price movement. So all of those rules, okay, of exchanging money, they don't even apply to Forex of today, okay, because Forex of today has nothing to do with buying and exchanging money, okay, or currencies. Already Forex on those broker, it's like you are watching a birds in the sky and you are write a contract, okay. You just write a contract, say if the birds goes up, I win. If the birds goes down, you lose. You don't have no control. You are not actually in touch and direct access to the bird, okay. You give $1,000, you lose it. So that is speculating, that is betting. So that is not allowed in Islam. Purchasing anything, you are not trading, okay. Trading is totally incorrect word here, okay, because we know trading, you are trading something for something, an actual good, a tangible, a commodity or an asset, okay, like food or house or those things, okay. So but they use trading in that terminology in those platforms you go. So they even have the Islamic version term interest, okay. But here is also misleading, because if you don't have any real money, okay, being exchanged. There is no even loan to speak of interest, okay. There is no even buying or selling into that. Nothing is really recorded in the real world. Everything is just recorded on the books, okay. They balance their books. We have assets and liabilities, and that's okay. We're gonna talk about that in some future videos, okay. So when these they put these Islamic options, okay, say Islamic versions of trading, or you see all these things trending on social networks, be very careful about these transactions, okay. Especially some of them are interest rate differentials, okay. So when I say interest rate differential, this is a fee that sometimes is applied, but the reality is whether there is that fee on or there is no fee, okay, because they're trying to pretend like these are Islamically allowed, but they are not allowed. The underlying transaction is not money. Remember, that's the key. Exchange, there is no real ownership. Both of these just trading contract, okay, different. So summary, because there is no real buying and selling of these currencies, okay, there is only a contract where we are betting and speculating. And so when we are betting and speculating, that is not legal in Islam. So you don't have even ownership of this pure game. It's just a pure game of chance. It's gambling. So it is not possible to make this permissible business. Now, there is one more thing to be mindful of, because for these platforms like these brokers, okay, or middlemen, okay, to make money, remember they are betting against you. So you are betting against them, and they have all the information that you don't have. So even betting in the Forex against the other fellow traders, you are all betting against the platforms. So these leverages, so a tiny movement, it will just wipe you out, okay. So this is not real business. So if most of traders will win, so what you will find often is that the way the system is designed, you have a small margin, okay? Volatility is your enemy. So for them, volatility is their friend. For us, volatility is our enemy, as if you are trading, because the moment that price move a little bit, it will wipe you off. So you will find this because this is how the game is done, okay? Volatility is artificially even increased, so it just makes the price move a little bit just to wipe people off, then it goes to the right direction. So we often find them increase volatility just to shake off these traders, okay, from their positions and small margins, because they remember, all of you, your information, everyone information is coming to them, so they know exactly where your positions are. So that's why 85 to 90%, according to research, lose money trading. So this promise that we see in these get rich quick schemes, okay, or courses where you can learn how to do this technical analysis, or you will supposedly have these signals or that signal and that access, that information, and you will look at some pie chart or bar chart, you will do something. Nothing in real life moves in these pips, okay. For those of you who trade Forex, you know what I'm talking about when I say pips. Okay, this moves in milliseconds. We have high frequency trading now. So this is purely speculative. And people who do this, you can see them after a while completely gambling lifestyles. Okay, they are constantly glued to their screens, watching little movement, okay, from seconds to a second. If you are buying assets, it's okay, but speculating, that's where the problem is in Islam, okay. So only people who make money are the platforms, are the people who are selling you these fake ideas, and that this is what they earn money. So my advice for people is that learn some real skills, okay. You can trade, you can invest, but you have to learn. This is something you go to school for, you study, okay, you get degrees, you get masters on. It's not something anyone you can just jump into, okay. It's something that you can learn, it's something that you can master, it's something you can be good at if you just learn the rules and understand. This is for, like, I'm saying it from the Muslim perspective, okay. There are people who are non-Muslims who are doing this, which is fine to them, but as a Muslim, okay, and understanding the rules in these fields is very, very important, is very, very helpful, okay. So So I'm going to stop here for today. So I'll come back some other times, inshallah, and talk about this, especially this holy month of Ramadan, how investment, money, and banking relates to Islam, and how the Ramadan is going. So today is day one. We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us the strength, the both physically and spiritually, to able to fast this holy month of Ramadan. So thank you all very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.